15 Bodacious Pics of Ashley Graham. There's something about Ashley Graham. When I say that, I don't mean that as an insult, but I also don't really mean it as a compliment either. She's just kind of, I don't know, confusing. On the one hand, she has an incredible face, there's no doubt whatsoever that she's ridiculously beautiful, nothing confusing about that, and I'm all about healthy body image, and I think women should look however they want. Personally, I tend to like chicks who have some curves, that's kind of my whole thing, and there's no doubt that Ashley is curvy, but is it too much of a good thing? According to a site called HealthyCeleb, she's 5'9" and weighs 201 pounds. Now, I don't care about that, but as hot as she is, don't you think she would be hotter if she got down to 180 or so? Of course, she would. But you know, that isn't supposed to be said because that makes me some sort of body shamer or something. But that's just it, I think she's hot just as she is, but you know, she'd be hotter if she maybe toned up just a little. And the thing is, she's the one making a living from her looks. It doesn't make me or anyone else a bad person to comment on her looks. So, you know, I do think Ashley Graham is hot. Sometimes, I just don't like to admit it. Here are 15 photos of Ashley Graham that you don't want to admit that you like. 8. As long as it's a secret. Other times, of course, she looks absolutely amazing, such as in this particular shot. The whole thing is some sort of Jedi mind trick. Am I turned on, or am I not? And if I am turned on, why am I? I know I've touched on this before, but there's no doubt that she's attractive and, in fact, a big part of how attractive she is how she owns her looks. Some guys get kind of turned on by a woman who's kind of insecure, while others really get turned on by confidence. Ashley is the kind of chick who comes at you with who she is. If you like it, you're going to really be turned on, and even if you don't like it, you're going to be turned on at least a little. You have to give her some respect for that. You just have to. 9. Why not? In my humble opinion, the whole thing seems to work a bit better when she has a dress on as opposed to showing a little more skin. Once again, I know a lot of you are going to say that I shouldn't say anything like that, but guess what? I kind of look better showing less skin, too, and I'm certainly not trying to make my living with my body. Ashley is a very smart woman, and she spends a lot of time talking about what it's like being a plus-size model. She takes her role very seriously indeed, and that's all cool, and she looks great most of the time, anyway. Sometimes, one looks at her, and the whole thing is kind of meh. And again, that only matters because she's a model, her whole thing is being judged by her looks. That's what she does. 10. Meh. So, where do we go with all of this? Ashley has come out and said that all bodies should be valued and thought of as equal. No single body or size should be considered more or less than another. I have to say, that's more than ridiculous. We all like what we like, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all have different templates, and we all can get attracted to people of all different body types. Just as it's okay for someone to be turned on by Ashley because she's kind of plump, it's okay for someone to be turned off by her because she's kind of plump. It works both ways. If you look at Ashley Graham and she's too big for you, that's fine, just like it's fine if you're totally attracted to her and don't want to admit it. 11. Sure thing. And then, there are other photos of Ashley that you look at, and there's no doubt at all what you're looking at. You're seeing a gorgeous woman who has an incredible body, and who's comfortable in her own skin. You don't even have to think about whether or not you think that she's hot. She's even made the cover of Sports Illustrated, and seriously, how cool is that? They don't just let anyone do it. But again, would she look even hotter if she dropped 20 pounds or so? Oh yeah, she would. You know it, I know it, and even she knows it. But that wouldn't fit in with her brand. It would be like if the Grateful Dead started to do Metallica cover songs. Even if you like Metallica, you know that wouldn't be a very good idea. Right? 12?
Think about it.
Alright. Now, before you get mad, I get it. I understand that her whole thing is trying to promote healthy body images of young women and girls. She's modeled since she was 12 years old and has gotten a lot of flack about not fitting into a certain body type. And here's the thing, I think that's totally cool, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The only point I'm trying to make is, how hot is she really? Is it the hype of being a normal-sized woman that's made her so hot? Because there's no doubt that she's famous because of her size, not despite it. This photo is another that makes one question one's own reality. There's no doubt that we're looking at a woman who's hot, but how hot is she really? It's kind of hard to tell, to be honest. 13. Down with that. But then, sometimes, you look at Ashley Graham, and you see a woman who's so stunningly beautiful that it's impossible to deny. Her face is truly something else, and as much as she might be a little round in some areas, she certainly is pretty streamlined when it comes to her face. One of the things that set Ashley apart from many other models is how traditional she is. She met her husband in church and even waited until she was married to consummate her marriage. This is yet another thing that's actually kind of confusing, though, is that hot or isn't it? And, of course, she doesn't care what we all think about her religious choices or how long she stayed a virgin, but still, it all goes together in some way. 14. I guess so. Okay, so here we go. She has an absolutely gorgeous face, and there's nothing wrong with her body, not even a little bit. But still, when you look at her, you can't quite tell what's going on. Are you totally turned on right now? Are you totally turned off? The truth is almost certainly somewhere in the middle, which is exactly what I'm talking about. If she was someone you knew, if she was your girlfriend, would you be turned on by her? Of course, you would. She's gorgeous. But would you think that she was someone who was one of the hottest women in the world? Of course, you wouldn't. This is the kind of thing that will make people mad at me to say, but there's no way no one could honestly say that it's not true. 15. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. The face is just amazing, second to none, really. Her body looks totally awesome, too. But still, there's just something just a bit off about it, something just a little too thick. It's almost like if she were just a little bit taller, she could pull it off a little better. Now, of course, she already pulls it off quite well, as I've already said. She's rich, she's successful, she's hot, but again, when one looks at her, it's hard to tell whether you're supposed to be digging her because she's so amazing looking or if it's because she's so amazing looking for a chick who's a bit on the large side. Her being 5'9" probably has something to do with that whole situation.